leading up to hiring John Spytek and Pete Carroll? What made you sure that those were the two guys to bring in and run the ship moving forward?
Well, I guess, I don't know how far back to go, but let's go back to, I guess, October when Tom Brady, Tom Wagner, and Richard Seymour were approved as owners.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raider Nation, buckle up because the 2025 NFL season has brought a whirlwind of change to your Las Vegas Raiders, the team you know and love, now under a bold new leadership, reshaping not only the roster but the very culture of this storied franchise. Today, we're diving deep into the whirlwind offseason, the new regime under Pete Carroll, and what these seismic shifts mean for the silver and black as they grip the early part of this season, full of promise, painful lessons, and a nation eagerly watching. Now, let's start with a question. What does a full-on rebuild look like in the NFL? For the Raiders this year, it wasn't just a patchwork job. No, it was an overhaul. A new head coach, a fresh general manager, a new starting quarterback, revamped coaching staff, and a slew of players who weren't here a year ago. This isn't typical for most teams. It's a huge statement that the Raiders are hitting the reset button hard. As longtime followers know, the Raiders have been no strangers to shakeups over the past decade, but this season, it's a different beast. With Pete Carroll at the helm in Las Vegas, the organization has made a sharp pivot. Carroll, a two-time Super Bowl winning coach, and yes, the same visionary who once led the Seattle Seahawks to NFL glory, was handed the reins by team owner Mark Davis, along with trusted executives John Spytek and the legendary Tom Brady, now in a front office role. They trust Carroll's championship pedigree to repair and re-energize a team desperate to reclaim its relevance in the AFC West, a division packed with powerhouses like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Denver Broncos, each with their own hunger for top spot. Now let's zoom in on this team's start to the season. As we hit Week 4, the Raiders stand at 1-2. It's early, sure, but Raider Nation is watching closely, and nervously, especially after two tough losses where the team faltered in frustrating ways. If you're a Raider fan, you know how painful those kinds of losses can feel. It's not just about the scoreboard, it's about the hope, the momentum, and the identity that's still forming under Carroll's system. So what's going on under the hood? Let's break down the tactical side. John Gruden, who's no stranger to this franchise and the head coaching role himself, shared some blunt but thoughtful thoughts. Gruden said, "Well, it is still early in his regime. Let us not forget that. It is his third game. He has only been there for 3 games." Wise words from a coach who knows the trials of transforming the Raiders. Gruden zeroed in on a critical issue, the running game. For the Raiders, establishing a balanced offense is essential, especially to lighten the load on a young offensive line. The newly drafted Ashton Jeanty, who was picked 6th overall, represents the Raiders' hopes in this department. Getting Jeanty integrated isn't just about yardage. It's about controlling the game's tempo, managing third downs, and ultimately, opening up the playbook for other stars to shine. Speaking of stars, let's talk personnel. Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker have been flashing potential, giving the Raiders weapons outside the pocket. But if the running game stalls, the defense can tighten up, knowing the Raiders are one-dimensional. This puts enormous pressure on Derek Carr, the franchise QB who's had his ups and downs but remains the signal caller expected to lead this offense with poise, experience, and a trademark laser arm. Fans remember Carr's clutch moments back in Oakland and his resilience in high-pressure situations. Defensively, the Raiders still boast a hard-hitting identity, led by the ferocious Max Crosby, who embodies the team's grit and tenacity. Crosby isn't just a sack machine, he's a heart and soul figure on a defense that's hungry to halt elite AFC West offenses. The Raiders' defensive line and linebackers have been tasked with generating consistent pressure, a key to bouncing back from the early season stumbles. Let's rewind for a moment and soak in the legacy of the Raiders, the black and silver tradition that lives in the fans' hearts everywhere. From the gritty days in Oakland to the more recent Las Vegas era that began in 2020 with the opening of Allegiant Stadium, a state-of-the-art fortress nestled along the Strip, the Raiders have built one of the NFL's most passionate fan bases. Raider Nation is famous not just for their loyalty, but their demand for excellence and an edge-of-your-seat style of football. Think back to legends like Marcus Allen, the Hall of Fame running back and Super Bowl MVP who personified the team's toughness, or Howie Long, the defensive stalwart whose toughness set the tone for decades. These legends laid the foundation, and today, players are expected to live up to that legacy while forging their own. The Raiders' rivalries? Oh, they're epic, and they're heating up again. The Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes' wizardry, remain the AFC West Kings. The Chargers, young and dynamic, provide a constant challenge, and the Broncos, rich in history themselves, always bring unpredictable fire to the field. Every Sunday, Allegiant Stadium feels like a war zone, buzzing with energy as Raider Nation demands grit, heart, and those electrifying big plays. This season, the story is truly about rebirth under Pete Carroll. His hallmark teams are tough, disciplined, and make big plays when it matters. Carroll's challenge is to meld a rookie-laden roster into a cohesive unit that can push back against Chiefs and Chargers and become a playoff contender again. Now, let's imagine a locker room moment after a tough loss. Pete Carroll, addressing the team, says, "We've got the talent, the grit, and the heart. But it's not about today's game, it's about every snap, every play going forward. It's time to make history, Raiders. This is our time. Let's get to work." Gruden weighs in with optimism. If the Raiders can get that ground game going with Jeanty, if Carr can find rhythm with his receivers, and the defense can keep delivering pressure, this team can shock some folks in the AFC. Looking ahead, the Raiders' trajectory this season will influence everything, from playoff hopes to next year's draft strategy. A hot streak could catapult them into postseason contention, reshaping how the AFC West powers view them. A rough patch could mean more rebuilding and roster tinkering in the offseason. Before we wrap up, a fun bit of Raiders trivia. Did you know the Raiders were originally founded in 1960 and have won 3 Super Bowls? Their silver and black colors symbolize strength and rebellion, a perfect representation of the underdog spirit Raider Nation embodies. So, fans, what's the takeaway? Stay engaged. This is a season of transformation. Whether you're a die-hard or a casual fan tuning in, the story of the Raiders in 2025 is one of grit, evolution, and hope. Be ready for wild plays, hard hits, and moments that remind us all why the NFL and this team are so captivating. Make sure you're watching every snap at Allegiant Stadium, keep that Raider Nation spirit loud, and don't miss the next game because the silver and black are cooking up something special right before our eyes. This is your in-depth look at the Las Vegas Raiders 2025 season kickoff, changing the game, embracing the challenge, and charging into the future. Stay with us for more updates and all the action, because with the Raiders, anything can happen.